sodded. No riding today, unfortunately. 3, 2, 1. What's going on, YouTube? Got a good one for you guys today. Gonna be going through just some of the different tests that are required for the permit skills testing to get your motorcycle permit here in the state of Washington. Washington State Permit Skills Test. The skills test, not the actual written test. So basically, I have not been riding for a year without a permit. I actually did have my permit, and I kind of go into what the details of what happened for me no longer having my permit. So video is going to be linked up here. Long story short, the permit expires after 6 months. You can renew it again for another 6 months, and I did not. So you have to renew your Washington state license within that 6-month period of obtaining your motorcycle permit, which I did obtain last June. I just didn't get a chance to do that. I thought that it was automatically extended, or that I needed to go in and I could do it after the fact. But once you hit that date, if you have not had that chance to get it renewed, then you got to go back through the whole process again. So that is what we are doing today. I got the test scheduled for just a couple weeks from this point, and honestly, I'm not really that stressed about it. I mean, I am a little bit, because I'm just annoyed about the whole situation. You know, I feel like I should be getting ready to go do the endorsement test, which is a whole nother process. So in Washington State, you've got to get your permit first, which is a 25-question exam, and then a 5-item skills test. And then after 6 months, you know, they recommend about 2,000 miles. You come back and you do another skills test and another written exam. And I believe the written exam is 50 questions and the skills test is just 2 maneuvers. So anyway, I'm not too stressed about it, just because, you know, A, I did it. I did it a year ago when I had way less motorcycle experience than I currently do. But then B, it's not too challenging because it's not designed to be incredibly difficult. It's designed to really just analyze your basic skills and check a few of those kind of basic boxes. You know, this is by no means something that's supposed to have you be prepared for all the kinds of various situations you can run into out on the road. The only reason that I'm even going to practice, well, honestly, partially because when I did it previously, I did it as part of a course, so there was a lot of practicing beforehand. You're already practicing a bunch when you're doing the whole 3-day course that I did previously. But also, the bikes that they have there are 250cc generally, and I'm on a 500cc bike. So even though I got a lot more experience on this bike, I just want to brush up on mostly some of those slow speed maneuvers that are required for passing the skills test. And I really don't want to show up there, fail the skills test, and have to take it all over again and spend the extra $80, do it a third time. That's just not something I really want to add to the agenda today. So I'm headed to an empty parking lot, and I got some cones with me, and I'm going to do some practicing. Let's go ahead and skip forward to that part where I'm all set up and ready to go with the first test. Alright, so like I mentioned, mostly today just going to be focusing on the slow speed maneuvers, and that gets us to test number 1. Test number 1. So test number 1, as you can see, I got some cones laid out. Basically, you just have to weave back and forth in between the cones, not put your foot down, try not to hit any of the cones, and you have to go back and forth between all of them, so you can't skip a cone, basically. The test is 12 feet with 5 cones. I've approximated a little bit. And also I realized there aren't 5 cones there. There's like 8 or something. Just did a couple more just so I can kind of practice a little bit more and, you know, get comfortable with things. All right, let's go ahead and get on with this first test. So again, the idea, just working on those slow speed maneuvers, clutch and throttle control. A couple tips here that I'm just recalling from my course. I guess I should say, at this point, I am not a motorcycle instructor. I'm not an expert. This is a combination of what I remember from the course, along with what I've been able to find online since taking the course. And so this is what I recall, and this is what I what I found online. So anyway, not a motorcycle expert. Go talk to a motorcycle expert, motorcycle instructor. Go take the course. Actually do the course. Don't just watch a bunch of videos on YouTube and think you're good to go. Anyway, so this first one, throttle, clutch control. One of the things that they told us to get comfortable with, or that could help us with this kind of thing, is using the rear brake. So putting your foot down on the rear brake, like here. I don't know if you can see it, but I'm applying a rear brake. What you want to do is you want to find a good position of the throttle. So you kind of just want to give it a little bit, roll on it, just so that you got a little bit there. And then obviously when you're in gear, you're going to let the clutch out as you start to move. As you start to speed up, pull the clutch back in. As you feel yourself starting to tip or slow down, let the clutch out a little bit. And it's all just about that friction zone work. And one of the things, like I mentioned, that will help you stay stabilized is applying the rear brake. So this is attempt number 1. And it's probably going to be terrible. So yeah, I just drove over most of the cones. So I'm going to go ahead and spread these cones out just a little bit more. I think they're going to need a little bit more space. So let's see here. There it is. That one felt good. Not too difficult of a task. It only took me a couple tries before I got comfortable with where I needed to be on the friction zone and how much throttle I needed, and kind of just maneuvering with the balance. I don't really know how many people are watching this are in Washington State, and if other states are different. But yeah, this isn't really necessarily meant to be an instructional video on how to do this. This is more meant to be just kind of me documenting my experience and what I need to do in order to get my permit, so that I can go get my endorsement and I can just be done with this shit. So the next one, I'm not really going to use cones. I'm more going to just use the lines that parking stalls are in. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to try to do it with 3 stalls, and then I'm going to see if I can get it down to 2 stalls. So basically, the next test that you do is just measuring your ability to do U-turns. And right back here, I was just doing a bunch of them. But you need to be able to do it within a box, and you don't want to put your foot down. And again, it's just throttle control, friction zone control, clutch control, understanding the friction zone. Probably throw one here, throw one here, one here, and one here. Alright, the things I do for you guys. Alright, so I got some cones in here now, 3 stalls. U-turn, I'm going to enter in the first stall, 90-degree angle turn, enter into the first stall, go all the way down, make a U-turn, come all the way back, make a figure 8, make another U-turn, go in the other way, and then shoot out that way. So I should end where the handicap sign is. Let's give this a shot. This one I might have the dimensions wrong too. Alright, so I either have the turn incorrect or the dimensions incorrect. But the principle is the same thing. Just trying to make 2 consecutive U-turns, each go in different directions. And worrying about that throttle control, the friction zone, keeping your head up and looking where you want to go. Alright, so I just watched the video and I was wrong. They only did 1 U-turn. So like I said, just out here trying to practice my slow speed maneuvers, be more comfortable with my bike, something that everybody should do. You basically start, you make the right hand turn, you go down to the end, you make a U-turn, and then you're out. I'm going to do just a couple more U-turns just to kind of feel a little bit better about that, and yeah, just keep practicing. So the video I just watched, you go here, make the right hand turn, and then they have you do a left-handed U-turn. Put my foot down, and then you're out. Just got to work on not putting my foot down. Right hand turn. Figure 8. Left hand U-turn. And out. No foot this time. Just really practicing, getting more comfortable on the bike at slower speeds. I needed to do this anyway. And so even though it's annoying that I gotta get my permit again, at the end of the day, it's just helping me to get more comfortable with my bike. Look at that. Perfect circles. All right. That's about all I'm gonna do for today. And even though a 500cc bike really isn't the largest, I mean by any means the largest bike you can get, you know, it's a completely right there, right? Throttle slip and almost lost the bike. Woo, that would have sucked. Anyway, so even though 500cc is you know, not the largest bike by any means, it's still a completely different feeling than the 200cc bikes that you have when you do the course, and I'm sure it'll be different with most other bikes that are larger or smaller. So anyway, feels good to get out here. Yep, there are other tests and I will need to practice those pretty soon before I take the actual test, but you know, for the most part, those are the ones that I really feel like I needed more practice on. The other ones are gonna be being able to swerve last minute, being able to stop really quickly, do an emergency brake, you know, clutch, brake, stop. And so those I feel less worried about just because, you know, it's perks of being on a motorcycle. So like I mentioned, all I really wanted to worry about today was the slow speed maneuvers, getting around those cones, focusing on the U-turns, and just getting a little more comfortable with my bike. I'm confident that I could pass the test. Pretty sure I could pass it with my bike here. It's good to practice. It's good. You know, I'm never going to say no to practicing riding your motorcycle. So anyway, thank you everyone for hanging out with me today, going over some of those slow speed maneuvers, listening to my breathing. Really do appreciate it. If you have not had a chance, go ahead and subscribe to the channel. I got tons of Honda Rebel 500 content, lots of motorcycle motovlogging content. Go ahead and check out the channel if you're new. Go ahead and leave a comment if you are new to riding as well and found these tips useful. Leave a comment if you think these tips were kind of annoying. Anyway, great to hear from y'all. Like the video, leave a comment, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel, Evergreen Motovlogs. Remember to ride safe out there, mind your surroundings, and I'll catch you all in the next one. Peace!